Kirk.
And this is Byrd. It's the Kirk and Byrd Show. Hey, look, we are getting ready to do our Super Bowl preview. And we've got two special guests. Everybody knows, of course, Jay Gholson. All right. Everybody's dude they love to hate. He's also the godfather of Prince William County sports. But we've gone a little bit outside of Prince William County. And then we've got college football expert Richard Knowles, who also knows a thing or two about the NFL. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having me.
So
hey,
Richard has been on the show before, but I just want to let you know his expertise. He's the brother in the office that you can always, the water cooler dude that you can talk sports with, and he's super knowledgeable. That's why he's here. Hit it, Kirk.
I was just going to say that Jay's a guy that was going bald in middle school. So y'all can see the light shining off his head right now. Actually, he got some hair. No, so we were actually, before we started this recording, we were talking about who the best quarterback was in the rookie class before then, the Pro Bowl and all this. So we love to talk. But if you're buying a house in Northern Virginia, talk to Jay Gholson. He'll take care of you. Does a great job. A lot of people to choose from. All right. I'll stand by that. And also, we want to ask you to please subscribe to our podcast. Almost everybody does it. Just hit subscribe. If you're not logged in, you can do it through Google or Facebook. Like, share, comment, all the above. We appreciate it. We spent a lot of time doing this. So just wanted to set that up. One other thing, we're getting ready to do a high school VHSL basketball playoff preview.
Oh,
and shameless plug. I don't have the episode number. Rusty and I did review the Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence football class, how they would do. And now we're starting to talk about it. It's a very interesting subject. So having said that, we want to preview the Super Bowl with a great matchup. Philadelphia is playing Kansas City in Glendale. Is it Glendale, Arizona?
Glendale.
Yeah. If you ever been to Phoenix, it's north, pretty much due north, like going up to Sedona. But guys, we're at Thursday, and it's interesting. We're getting down to crunch time. And I want to start off with the man, Hudson Rusty Byrd. Rusty, what's your thoughts going into this Super Bowl? We were talking earlier on the phone, and it was like I mentioned doing something on Sunday night. You were like, oh, it's the Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, it's not what it used to be. What's your thoughts going in? Are you excited? What are you looking for?
Yeah, so my very just overall broad opinion of it is this. These are, I think, if you go through the season, no matter who people try to push up, like these are the two best teams. And I think it's been a while since we've had the two best teams that really, if you go through the whole season, they were the best. People I'm not a believer in and that's a whole nother show in Buffalo and Josh Allen. But people want him to be better than Patrick Mahomes so bad, but he ain't done it yet. And we are watching Jordan and don't appreciate it. So when Patrick Mahomes, even if they aren't the best team, he's the best player and he's making them the best team. And then on the other side of the house, I think the Eagles have just been solid all year. I think the one team we all thought would be comparable or was good, also really good, was the 49ers. But they've had quarterback issues. And I really sincerely think like we had a legit Final Four this time for the first time in years. So that's what, I think about is we got the two best teams, and I'm not going to poo-poo this fact. We got two brothers for the first time in the NFL Super Bowl. So for a lot of us, it's just like, I don't care whoever wins,
In Black History Month also.
In Black History Month. Yeah. That's right. Thank you, Kirk. Thank you, Kirk, because we forgot.
Hey, when you are a kid in Hampton City schools and half your teachers went to HBCU, Hampton University, you're hearing about Black History Month in grade school. So
they all went to either Hampton, it was Hampton Institute, Virginia State, or Norfolk State.
Yeah.
All of them. Okay. All right. What do you think, Richard? What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, let me stop real quick on the black quarterback matchup. I think isn't it the first one we've had?
Yeah, it's the
both
first
starters.
one.
First one we had. Now I'm gonna take a step over here in a second. Joe Burrow.
It would have still been a black.
I don't know, man.
Joe Namath, man. Joe Namath.
If the Bengals, I think everybody actually said after Philly got in, they said after this is still going to be an all black quarterback.
That's right. Right.
It did not matter.
Yeah, no, what I did not want was a Bengals-Eagles matchup because I love Burrow, I love Hurts, and it just would have been too much for me to have to pick one. Now it's easy because Mahomes already got his, and I've always been a Justin Hurts fan. I'm a Jalen Hurts fan, and I'm looking forward to the matchup, and I'm really going to be pulling for Jalen Hurts.
Go ahead. Well, okay, go ahead, Jay. Gholson.
Yeah. Add on that one with Jalen Hurts. Now here is a kid, or he's a man right now. When he was a college sophomore, playing in a national championship game.
Yep. Got
pulled.
Yeah.
For Tua. Now to come from that, cheer on your teammate, Tua, motivate him to back your backup. Next year you got beat out by Tua. You transfer to Oklahoma, and now you're starting the Super Bowl. That's an amazing feat because most of us would just quit or just give up. Yeah. Yep. So I'm really pulling for Jalen Hurts. Kansas City, I think they're just too many injuries. I think Mahomes' leg is not 100% or close to it, and Philadelphia has been consistent all year long. Now I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan through and through. But
can you turn his mic off, Kirk? Can you mute him?
They're selling houses in Northern Virginia.
Don't say that with us up here.
Come on, man.
Don't mention that.
Hey, Jay, it's got the
Philadelphia has been the most consistent team this year. And my thing is for Jalen Hurts to go from being pulled on national TV in a championship college game to win the Super Bowl is a movie right there.
Yeah, I tell you, one of the big stories is the halftime show. Rihanna, Little Miss Sunshine. Here's a poll question. I want everybody to comment. You can't comment if you're not subscribed. What color outfit will Rihanna be wearing? Mine is silver and shiny, like sequins or something.
I got that. I agree.
And the statistical outlier is that Chris Brown comes up and dances on stage. Chris Brown from Tappahannock, Virginia. But I just bring that aboard. Have you guys ever looked, and let's not get into a long conversation. Have you ever looked at what people bet on? There's a million bets. Oh, yeah. Will they show her before the halftime? The first, this, that, the other. So
coin toss. Yeah. First down.
Right. So one of the things that I was looking at was injury report. So it looks like both teams are relatively healthy.
Ooh,
Mahomes has the ankle. According pretty good shape though. What are you hearing? What are you hearing?
So I'd say this. Yeah, Mahomes is a key because he's the best player. But I think I'd rather take Mahomes with this slight ankle as opposed to a few years ago against Tampa Bay when he had no offensive line. His offensive line was just third string guys. And that was much more difficult, I think. He was literally out there by himself. So I think he had 2 weeks. I'm hoping he'll be able to. He won't be as mobile, but he'll still be very effective, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I had heard that his ankle was he was quite a bit more mobile than the last time we saw him, and that I think the ankle is going to be a non-factor. Well, wait a minute. It's a non-factor considering he's going to be going up against a D line that has the Eagles have like 70 sacks this year, was like third in NFL history.
Yep.
He'll be mobile, but he's definitely going to need to be, because I think they're going to get a lot of pressure on him. And I think that's one of the keys to the game is him being able to deal with the pressure from the line, and that gives their pass defense, their secondary. It helps them to be able to make plays in down the field on the receivers. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be the key of the game.
I would agree.
Right. Yeah, I agree also. I was just going to put in, when I think of the keys of the game, and Rusty, I want to hear, we haven't talked about this much on the phone or text, but I think it's which unit is going to shine, because the Eagles clearly, this is not an opinion, have the better defense. And then Kansas City has the better offense. I think if Travis Kelce has a big game, and I realize he's a shining star, I think if he has a big game, they're going to be hard to stop. But Rusty, what's your take on the keys of the game? There are some Eagles that are almost unstoppable. I want to get your take on that.
So I think the keys for the game are going to be one. I think the biggest one will be Patrick Mahomes and what can Kelce continue to dominate. I am amazed at how he just gets open.
Yep.
And those guys have a great chemistry. Another thing I think is the Kansas City running game. For the last 4 or 5 years, they've been at their best when at least the run was a threat.
Right.
And from what I can see, that they do actually have that this year with the rookie. What is his name? It's number 10. Gosh, I can't remember his name. But anyway, they actually have a running threat, and they can seem to use that and do that a bit. But so I think the key will be, of course, Patrick Mahomes' health, but him being able to connect with Kelce. Because as long as he can play, they are never out of it. Clearly, over the years, he's proven that. And then I think for the Eagles, I think the two things are, look, Jalen Hurts looks like he doesn't get rattled, okay? Mm-hmm. But maybe he can. Okay, maybe Sean Jones can get to him a little bit. So if you're not going to ask Jalen Hurts to win the game, you just have to have him continue to be steady, not make any mistakes, which is what he does. But I think what a lot of people are kind of overlooking is the fact that this is still a rookie coach, and first time in the Super Bowl, and I think only his second. This is only second year as a head coach, right? Mm-hmm. Second year. So you got Andy Reid, who has that experience. Andy Reid has been to 4 Super Bowls, okay, and just been clearly a Hall of Fame coach. So I think that's another thing. I think Andy Reid and his staff will find a way to get it done. But I think those are the keys: your coaching, the quarterbacks, and that running game for Kansas City.
Well, I think though, regards to coaching experience, you play on the game, Rusty. That's out the window. I mean, it's X and O's, player versus player. Hurts again is not experienced in Super Bowl. That's true, but he's playing big time in college. And like I said, Mahomes.
Jay.
Yeah.
You say coaching throughout the window, but the Denver Broncos coach, the way he coached this past year. No, the coach that got fired. The guy that was with with Russell Wilson those first few games. What is
Hackett?
Right.
Yeah.
Coaching matters. Daniel.
Now hold on. Hackett's at home right now. This guy's playing the Super Bowl on Sunday. Let's go way back. Let's go back. We're all old men here. Look at Joe Gibbs with the Redskins.
Mm-hmm.
Second year. Going against who? Don Shula, a legend. Who won that game, Rusty?
I don't recall.
Jay, you're also talking about another legend. You're talking about another legend. Joe Gibbs is a legend.
No. I'm saying the second year as a head coach.
It's more impressive. We got to move on because we'll talk about everything.
Okay.
His first year, which was 80-81, I remember I was in 6th grade. They went 0-4, finished 0-5 for 8-18, and that was miraculous. I wanted to put a little bit of a spin on the Super Bowl, and we talk a lot of local, so we got some local players that are involved in the Super Bowl, and I just want to give a shout out. Kevon Wallace went to Highland Springs, won 2 national championships at Clemson. He's playing for the Eagles. And
he led Highland Springs to state championship too.
Oh yeah. And by the way, he was not offered by Virginia Tech, so go figure. Derek Nottie is from Virginia Beach, Ocean Lakes High School. Great player. He's already won a Super Bowl. And by the way, he was one of those last-minute Florida State recruits that went to Florida State because Florida State promised those guys the world, and once they got down there, they didn't get the world. And then we've got a player from Alta Vista, which is interesting. The young man from Alta Vista, his name is, I just had it up. It's Juan Thornhill. All right, so he's playing for the Chiefs. And then we also have a guy from Upper Marlboro, Zach Pascal. He's from Maryland. So just wanted to let everybody know about that. We've got some local flavors, and that's exciting.
Okay. I was going to say, though, with Rusty, one more thing. Experience means nothing in the Super Bowl. When you're hot, you're hot. Go ahead. Proceed. Kirk?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I think the 49ers would not have won with the ones they won with a different quarterback than Joe Montana. So I think experience is very important. But you're right. Certain people, you're probably going to name legendary players. But, yeah. So, I also wanted to point out that I think a name that could catapult into big-time star is Hassan Reddick, hometown guy, linebacker that went to Temple. And if he's on, I think you're probably, if Philadelphia wins that their defense is better, you're going to hear that name over and over and over again. If they are able to neutralize or keep Hassan Reddick to a minimum, I think that'll be a big factor also.
Yes, I agree.
Nope. I got one for you guys. Over under. What do you like for the over under?
It's 51.
Is it 51?
I think it's 51.
That's like a 27-24.
I think they'll blow that away.
Like that.
I think they'll blow that away.
Really?
No, I think Philadelphia will slow the game down to keep Mahomes off the field.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going with the under. Actually, I'm going with the under. I think the Eagles will use that running game to play keep away from the Chiefs, and then when the Chiefs do get the ball, I think the Eagles D line. You mentioned the quarterback the linebacker Hassan Reddick. I think the D line. I think that line is going to get in on it.
Oh yeah. Maybe
they will focus more so on Reddick and leave the line open for some sacks, some one-on-one matchups, and I think they're going to get the Mahomes. And I think I think that I'm looking at the Eagles winning by about double digits, maybe 10, 14 points.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Got that. Jay, you like under also?
Under, and I'm picking Philadelphia by about 10.
All right, that's what was next. Let's pick the game. You like Philadelphia by 10, Mr. Knowles?
I'm gonna go 24-10. 24-10 Eagles.
Wow, man! If they can hold Kansas City to 10 points, Rusty.
As far I kind of agree with the. At first, initially, I was just like you, because I was like, "Oh, this is definitely going to go over 51." Patrick Mahomes can put up 40 by himself, but the defense, and sometimes a lot of these games, these Super Bowls and these national championships, they're trying to fill themselves out, and before you look up and know it, it's like late in the second quarter, and it's only like 3-0. So, and that happens sometimes, And so I think if for the question over under, I think I would say under. But then on the, I think if I had to bet, okay, and that was one of the questions I had in our group. You guys are giving your picks, but if you had $100 on the line, would you still this be the way you go?
Absolutely.
$200. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I am pulling for the Chiefs. I think the Eagles can definitely win. I think it's going to be one of those. You know me, Kirk. I want Kansas City to win, but I would bet on the Eagles, and in that way, I can't lose.
There everybody go. I'm gonna go with Kansas City. I think they're more electric. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I like Kansas City by a touchdown or less. And I think that if you guys know anybody from Philadelphia or you've spent time up there, they are a unique group of people. I mean, you will get your butt kicked, violence, if you wear another jersey and you open your mouth.
I know.
But, you know, Philadelphia, they can tell you everybody who's from Philadelphia. Dare Hall, John Oates, Pink, Smoking Joe Frazier.
Benjamin Franklin.
The OJs. Hey, man, Philly Motown. Harold Melvin.
His friends used to call him Benny Frank.
I think the love train from Backstabbers will derail in Arizona. So, and I'd love to be wrong. So, but I wonder how the viewership is going to be this year. I would think it's at an all-time high. This is a very exciting game.
Yeah, it's back.
Yeah. It helps when you have the two best teams. You know, it's not like, well, you know, I mean, even last year, like nobody knew Cincinnati was good. We know it this year, but last year we were like Cincinnati.
Yep.
Right.
You know, so.
But I mean, but when has the Super Bowl not gotten viewership? I mean, if you're talking, I could see if you're saying that, you know, it dips a couple percent, 2 or 3%, you know, viewership from year to year. But has it ever been 15% lower than the year before?
It's a good question.
That is a good question.
We could look it up, but I would think sometimes like people might have gotten tired of the Patriots and may not have tuned in. I mean, but I think it's just a social thing too. You're gonna watch it. You're gonna watch. You know, like I think it's. I'm agreeing with you, Richard. I don't know if it really varies much, but I would think that maybe at some point people were tired of the Patriots.
Well, it's more of a party than a game.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
Hey, Jay, I got another. Make a comment. Okay, I say first person to get in trouble because you cannot take that many people to a big city and have this type of event with all the celebrities and things going on. We all know that there's some crazy things have happened Super Bowl week. I say it's going to be Saturday morning. Somebody's going to do something wrong. So that's my over-under. I think somebody's going to do something. It may not be as noteworthy. You know, I don't want to point out some bad incidents. This is some crazy stuff. But, yeah, I would say that, Saturday morning, somebody will do something stupid. It's just too much going. It's a big party.
No. These players are in Arizona and they're not even in Phoenix. There's nothing to get in trouble with.
Right.
You're going to be. It's not like when the brothers were in Atlanta.
But it could, Rusty. But it could be another football player. It could be another athlete or something notorious. Almost.
Oh, you're saying that something's going to go down. It may not necessarily be a player from either one of the teams.
Oh, I thought you were saying one of the players from the teams.
Yeah, well, they have that locked down, but you can get around that also. So
yeah.
Well, I can tell you one thing that people have really been enjoying about being down there, and that is that weed is legal. A lot of the shows, other podcasts I listen to, they're just like, "Oh my gosh, everybody's walking around smoking weed."
I know a guy that's a purser / flight attendant, and he is like every flight out of Colorado. As soon as people are blazing, but with the the non-smoke stuff, it's like normal thing. But I'm not sure how it is. Yeah, that'd probably be a lot of that in Arizona. By the way,
well, look at also Michael Irvin. What happened there?
Oh yeah,
what happened?
They didn't say.
I haven't heard.
They never said exactly. It was some woman. Apparently, he did something to offend. He said something to a woman in some type of interaction, but I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I'm kind of wondering. I'm thinking that story. At least, I haven't gotten this afternoon's update on it, but when I initially read what happened, Irvin says that he ran into a lady in the lobby, spoke to her for a minute, and then went to his room. It's not that I believe everything that Irvin says, but I think he's had so many second chances, third chances. I just do
Fourth
not think. Yeah, I just don't think that he would blow it off of. I just don't think that he would put it on the risk everything when he's come so far with having had so many second, third, fourth chances.
But
off of just an inappropriate comment that he had in passing.
But if he was a
cameras would back up the fact that all it was that he said something inappropriate, that it's a he said, she said off of something that was said. Oh, come on.
Yeah, this is going away, man. He only talked to her for 45 seconds. I just looked it up. Nah.
Yeah, a camera in the lobby would show it.
Hold on. It could just be 45 seconds. It's not how much you say, it's what you say. Sure. So, it could be offensive to her, but it may just be a part of it. And y'all don't know how much Michael Irvin had to drink. So when you talk about him blowing it, knowing he's got these chances, if that brother is high or drunk, you don't know what's coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, but what could, let's say that it was the worst, most vile things that a person could say to another person. Is that enough to shut him down?
No. I mean, if for men,
if she could even prove it,
what's the first thing?
Empirical evidence that he said the most vile.
Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me just say something.
It's got to be sexual. It's got to be sexual.
Clearly, it's probably sexual, but I can think of two things: something extremely sexual, and if he was white and he said the N-word, it would be a wrap. So yes, there is something you can say. There is
cocaine. He's had a lot of cocaine issues. He's had a lot of cocaine issues. He would not get another chance on cocaine.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Kirk, you're driving and you got us talking about lobby stuff. Let's go. You're supposed to keep us moving.
Yeah. I mean, but that's part of the whole lore of the Super Bowl. Can you guys name?
We're at 26 minutes, by the way.
Oh man, we're doing good. Another poll. Can you guys tell me who is singing the national anthem in this year's Super Bowl? Big star.
I don't know. I hope it's not Anita Baker.
Oh man.
Or
caught up in the rapture.
Yeah, because I heard enough of her at the NFC Championship game. Oh no.
It's country star Chris Stapleton, who's a big star.
Oh, okay.
And it's the new country also. It's not the old twangy beat up
yeah,
truck.
I know.
My toothless woman is leaving me country. This is pretty good stuff. So interesting now, Rusty, when we were getting ready to go on, I cut you off because we started talking about the Pro Bowl. And I was like, man, if we talk about that first, we're going to be 20 minutes in. So now that we're hitting half an hour, this is a good conversation. This is probably more fun than the Super Bowl. The Pro Bowl has become a joke. Everybody's talking about it. You've got the flag football game, throwing the water balloons. What? Two questions. What are y'all's thoughts on what's going on now? And should they just get rid of the whole thing?
Let me go first. Just get rid of everything. Vote who's like high school football, all state, have an all NFL, all Pro Bowl team. Here are the names. Congratulations. Bye.
Yeah.
No game because it's too physical. Someone get hurt, it's not worth playing a football game. Now, if you want to do maybe the fastest man, maybe that, or maybe the fastest, strongest offensive lineman or D lineman. Maybe that, but there's no need for no game, no flag football. Do like high school football. Here are the votes. That's it. Congratulations. See you next year or next season.
Well, there is a VHSL All-Star game. So
there is.
There's always been a VHSL. Did they end that? Because Mike Smith from Hampton started that.
I don't think they're going anymore. Because people are not playing football.
I don't think they are either, Jay.
Now, the old days, yes, but not in the last 5 or 10 years. I haven't seen that.
Where was that Pro Bowl event? Was that in Phoenix?
No, that was Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas. Wow.
They do that to get people to come. That's like they used to do it in Hawaii.
Just like, right.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, now here's you notice that the NFL is the only sports league that doesn't have guaranteed contracts.
And that too.
Also are the only sports league that has an all-star game that is more or less considered irrelevant and is even in discussion for doing away with. I do think there's a connection. The connection being that most of the the players at least want to go to the first Pro Bowl. And after that, it's an honor that so many of them, they want to be named a Pro Bowler, but they do not want to attend the game.
Yep.
And I think the reason why it is that, they can't afford to have a career-ending injury because the contracts aren't guaranteed. I don't know what they can do to remedy the situation they're in with the Pro Bowl, but I think that there's a connection with the whole status of with the whole thing of contracts not being guaranteed, and the players don't want to risk an injury that would put them out for the upcoming season, and they get no check.
All right, so Jay, I'm actually offended by your comments. As a 25-year flag football veteran and all-star in Northern Virginia, flag football is fine. Bruh, let me just tell you something. I'm playing flag football. I've played for about 25 years. I just retired a few years ago. But let me say this. In playing flag football, I called this 20 years ago as the NFL game started to change. And really, I don't know why you wouldn't like a flag football game for the Pro Bowl, because that's all the NFL is now. Once they went to this spread and the quarterback is in the shotgun, you got 5 receivers and you might have a back. That's flag football. Think about it. That is exactly all flag football is. And so they're doing it with equipment. Just take the equipment out. Look, if you've been on the 7-on-7 circuit or been around flag football, I'd rather have this and see the guys really trying than have equipment and not trying.
Let me ask you one question. Can you blow out your knee in flag football?
Yes.
Yeah.
Blow out your knee walking down the street.
No guaranteed contracts. Rusty, put it away.
No, hold on. But you can also blow out your knee doing the fastest man or doing some of those obstacle courses and stuff, right?
Sure.
In case they player, look, if you do this race and you win, we'll give you $100,000 to the winner. That's your choice. Stay home or do whatever.
All right. So we're starting to freestyle. I don't know where we are on time, but just make a note of that. But Nate Daniels, who I think went to North Carolina and played at Ferrum, he's on social media quite a bit. But we were talking the other day about careers in athletics and things like that. So I just looked up some numbers. So sports worldwide is a $500 billion business. $500 billion, about $550 billion. And that is mammoth compared to what it used to be. Like oil and gas is 20 trillion. Financial services worldwide is like 28 trillion. So you're talking industry. It's still a small industry, but the thing is it's becoming so much bigger. You got more eyes on the players. They're selling more pizza, soda, and things like that. Rusty, you guys are right. You can't afford to have an injury because that's your asset. That is your asset. If you're a car company and you got a problem, what was it, Boeing with the 737? They took all of them down. In football, man, it's just like you can't have somebody playing basketball when they're making $40-50 million a year.
These guys, when they play the flag football, they're just basically playing catch. If you watch them, nobody's hitting anybody. They're pulling the flags. Nobody's chucking or anything. Yeah, you could get hurt, but you know what? These same guys, if they weren't here, the good ones are still going out running routes, and they got somebody checking them in the off season.
Right.
All the time. All the time.
Get hurt with no contact.
I know. But but with that, you're saying it's not like they're playing another sport, playing basketball. They're playing football, and it's for entertainment. And they're only playing it for about 40 minutes. Like, I get what you're saying. Don't get me wrong. But this, as opposed to nothing, I would definitely take this. You're seeing people make plays, and it's interesting to see the quarterbacks and the receivers and the better players playing together.
But Rusty, you just mentioned entertainment, right?
Yeah.
Who's being entertained?
Thank you.
Who's being?
I would rather see them play basketball than flag football. It would be more fun and interesting. But I would say this. Do y'all remember when players used to talk about the paycheck that they got for the Pro Bowl and the whole experience? These athletes are making so much money now that that's nothing.
Nothing.
And it's the same thing, probably with like the NBA All-Star. There's just so many perks. I mean, remember when teams used to fly commercial?
But hold on. So listen, hold on, guys. So you're saying don't do a flag football game, but they still do 3 preseason games. That, to me, is the crime. If you're going to sit here, Jay, and talk about people getting hurt, not having guaranteed contracts, like those Pro Bowl, those preseason games, to me, that's the travesty. Because what? No, hold on. You're sitting there watching that, and that's doo-doo. And that and you could have a guy trying to make the squad take out a former Pro Bowler. Like, to me,
hold on a second. First of
preseason
all,
football sucks.
The starters,
that's where people can get hurt.
Well, starters don't play in the first 2 games anyway for preseason football.
Okay. So there again. Okay, so you're saying you're fine with seeing guys that will never play or make the team, as opposed to seeing the best players for that season have some type of competition.
Yeah, because first 2 games, who makes the team? You got to watch them play.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Those 4 games are for about 5% of the roster. That's it. Those are guys that they're digging, and a lot of guys get good film and get cut but go somewhere else. I think that's what all about. And then they never throw in their offensive game plan. It's by the third game.
The third game they play.
The starting quarterback's going to play about a half, and then the 4th game he hardly plays
at all.
But good point, Rusty. Hey, if you're going full speed and Josh Allen takes a hit, and you can get hit. Remember Brady got his knee torn? That could happen at any time. So that is a good point.
You're really downplaying the aspects of the athleticism and the plays that can happen in flag football. I get it. You're just used to people getting hit, but that what you're used to growing up with is not the same way even we can hit. Like, you're not seeing the devastating hits and all that. The reason you love football, if you can appreciate routes, catches, throws, coverages, there is something about flag football that you can appreciate.
Not true.
I have an appreciation for flag football, but I think the problem, though, is that what kind of viewership are you going to have with fans tuning in to watch NFL players, the best football players in the world, play a sport that we all can play on the weekends?
Actually, we all can't.
Well, I just mean.
So let me ask you this. Using that logic.
Hold on, Russ.
Should they get rid of the NBA All-Star game?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Why not? Why not?
Because the dunk contest is nothing now.
No, but why? Okay.
But the game, though, the All-Star game itself, the NBA All-Star game.
They don't play defense. It's terrible.
Right, but don't the fans
it's an event.
It's an event.
True.
It's still a big deal. The Pro Bowl hasn't been a big deal 20 years, 30 years. I don't know when. You can't name the last year.
I'm going to use Jay's argument. I'm going to use all of your arguments.
Someone sat down
hold on. I'm going to use your arguments. Okay.
Okay.
Why somebody could get hurt? Okay. You can get hurt. Okay, maybe you have a guaranteed contract, but you can get hurt in the All-Star game, right?
No.
In the basketball, in the NBA, and then the other thing, you were saying, why would we watch somebody do something that we could do at home? The four of us can go play basketball, right?
You don't have
Can we go play basketball?
What I mean is, we all have the opportunity to do it. You don't have the opportunity to play in the NFL. You do have the opportunity to play flag football. I'm saying that but to have the NFL players, which is an exclusive club, to play flag football that is less exclusion. It's less exclusive.
Right.
What is the interest for the fans in watching NFL players?
I would just say this. For the NFL, of the three big sports, I love going to hockey games, but I don't watch it. I would say that the NFL probably has the least draw. I want to go the Pro Bowl. I want to see the Pro Bowl. I want to see the skills contest. That used to be really cool. Now, when I think about basketball, the dunk contest used to be must-see TV. You had to watch it. I mean, Spud Webb winning it. Another one is...
But you got a three-point shootout, though. You got three-point shootout. They can make a whole weekend.
But that's not... But that's... Right.
They can make a weekend off of the NBA All-Star. The NBA All-Star weekend.
Right. So I don't watch a lot of baseball on TV unless it's the Nationals. And I like playoff baseball. It's awesome. Baseball is a much slower game. But if I say to you right now, just tell me what pops into your head. MLB All-Star game. What pops in your head now?
The winner hosts the World Series.
Okay. What else?
Always
for me, I go back to Pete Rose running over the catcher, and they're not going to do that.
I was going to bring that up next. It used to be competitive, but no, present day, Rusty, does anything pop in your mind?
Well, Sean Taylor did run over the punter in the Pro Bowl. But anyway.
Well, right. I was just going to say,
the home
run derby is huge. The home run derby,
but you're not getting
version of dunk contest.
It is, but you're not going to keep getting the best players because what they're finding is these guys are tearing themselves up doing that. They can't hit home runs for a couple of weeks after that. You know, I mean, the home run derby is okay. I thought it was, to me, like the dunk contest. I thought it was cool and neat 15, 20 years ago. But now I don't get any, okay, they can hit the ball far. I mean,
the crowd is still there, Rusty.
I got a poll question for everybody. The unbelievable Burt Bacharach passed away yesterday.
Yeah.
Jay, what's your favorite Burt Bacharach song?
Man, that's before my time. I'm with that.
No, it isn't. He wrote all of Dionne Warwick's. He wrote all of Dionne Warwick's. You've got Dionne Warwick songs.
You guys are old.
You're older than us.
That's Rusty.
Man, that's terrible.
Yeah, you guys are old. Go ask them too.
No,
I'll jump in. Jump in. Now, if you're talking Burt Bacharach, he produced so many songs. He was the writer or the producer of many songs.
Right.
But my favorite is when Dionne Warwick's "Walk On By."
Yeah, "Walk On By."
Yeah.
And another one that everybody thinks is Dionne Warwick is "What the World Needs Now" is "Love, Sweet Love." That's not Dionne Warwick. That is a great song. He did "Raindrops Are Falling on My Head."
Did not know that.
Thomas. He also did the theme for Arthur, the Christopher Cross sang. He also
did "Jump by Criss Cross." That's my favorite. That's my favorite, man. If he did that.
Well, then that is my favorite Burt Bacharach.
He wrote a number. He wrote a number of Neil Diamond songs, and I Say a Little Prayer for You. If you ever, my favorite chick flick. Sorry if that's sexist. Is My Best Friend's Wedding with Julia Roberts, Cameron Diaz, and the sports reporter. And when they do that scene in the Lobster restaurant where I Say a Little Prayer for You, it's like a big. So Dionne Warwick's career was made there. I just wanted to bring that up for fun, but I actually looked up the songs that he was involved with. It is amazing. I'm leaving a bunch of them out. So parting thoughts. We'll wrap it up. what do you think the biggest surprise will be this weekend from the football field? I mean, could there be a star made? We've got Mahomes, Kelsey, and then Hurts is a star. By the way, his next contract's going to be nice. What's a name that could be famous late Sunday night?
I got one.
Yep.
The Eagles free safety, CJ Henderson. Excuse
Yep.
me, not Henderson. CJ Johnson. CJ Johnson. The free safety. I think that he's going to get 2 picks. I think he'll get 2 picks Sunday, and he may even win the MVP.
Yep.
I'm going with Miles, running back, the Eagles.
All right.
I think, and this is not to take away from Jalen Hurts, but I think the way that team is built is just perfect. Because what they realized is just like in Miami, if you surround a quarterback with tremendous receivers, it makes them so much better. It makes everything work. And that's what, with Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all those fast guys down in Miami. But that's what the Eagles did. The Eagles went out and got the what is it?
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. Yeah, AJ Brown. Devonta Smith from Alabama. Yep. And I think, and I'm not saying Hurts isn't a good quarterback, but when you put that around somebody, it makes a big difference. So I think coming out of this, if there's going to really be a star that the casual NFL fan doesn't really know about, I think it's going to be Devonta Smith. He played big at Alabama in the national championship. So we know he's not going to shy away under the big lights. So, he was amazing in the national championship. So he would be my pick for the person that would really break out.
All right. I don't think there's going to be a breakout player. I think it'll be Mahomes or Kelsey for Kansas City. And Philadelphia probably has a bigger chance of having a breakout. But, I mean, I think Mahomes is already going to the Hall of Fame. But if he wins this one, he is a lock. First ballot lock. Absolutely. The guy is special. So I think that definitely will be interesting. So why don't we show how old we are closing out? So my question, and I'll go last to answer, what's your favorite Super Bowl? Jay. Jan Stenner.
The 1977, the Cowboys versus the Broncos. That Bush Johnson catching the end zone over Steve Foley. That was the best one for me.
Yeah. All right. Runner-up? Quick.
Runner-up was Doug Williams winning for the Redskins.
Oh, God. They won like 56-0 in that game, though. That was
historical,
Yeah, I got it.
Quarterback. That's why.
Richard, as our guest.
My favorite was Super Bowl 13, Pittsburgh Cowboys in Miami.
That's my favorite.
Oh man, that was my favorite. That game had everything. It had big defensive plays. Thomas Henderson had a strip fumble sack of Terry Bradshaw, who he said couldn't spell cat with if you gave him the C and the A. It had big defensive plays. It had a comeback because the Cowboys came this close to coming all the way back from not all the way back. They were only down by like 10 points or whatever. They almost made a comeback to pull that game out. They had a blunder play. The tight end, what's his name? Who ended up being a Hall of Famer.
Jackie Smith.
Yep. Jackie Smith dropped touchdown pass right there in his hands in the end zone. But yeah, that was my favorite. My runner-up was Riggins. What Super Bowl was that? 17?
Yeah,
17. Redskins.
It's Miami.
Redskins, Dolphins.
Oh yeah, that was my runner-up favorite.
All right.
Well, for me, I was a Steelers fan growing up for a while, for a very long time until they got cheap and they weren't keeping all those great players from the 70s. So I kind of transitioned over to the Bears, but I still like the Steelers are like my AFC and the Bears are my NFC. So my first love for football was the Steelers, and so yeah, I could go with any of the 4 Super Bowls because that's what that they won. That's what really drew me. But I would also say the Super Bowls beating Dallas. So those two, those were the ones that I liked the most. I can't, the last one they won in that era because they've won 2 since then. But against the Rams, I had that was the year I got the football.
I had that football there too. Yep.
The electric football.
Oh yeah,
that's the one I got.
That was awesome.
Rams and the Steelers that Christmas. And you talk about, I love that thing. But then, so that Steelers group. But then also, I think my favorite is I still like the Steelers, but my favorite team became my favorite team because of my favorite player, Walter Payton. And I liked them when they were not good. I liked them with Walter, and they had Vince Evans. Having won a lot of black quarterbacks back then. So having those guys together, I liked them. But then, back in '85, they put it all together and they won, considered one of the best teams of all time. They lost to the Dolphins, but they proved it by winning, in the Super Bowl 46-10 over the Patriots. So that's my favorite because they followed through. So many teams like the Patriots, when they went undefeated, they lost in the Super Bowl, but they lived up to it.
Yeah, I gotta coincide with the Steelers over the Cowboys. Those unbelievable catches by Lynn Swann, John Stallworth.
Yeah.
And, it's funny if you start going through that roster. Franco Harris, Hall of Fame. Terry.
Both teams, the talent on those teams from that time.
I'm not talking about the Cowboys. Mel Blount, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, L.C. Greenwood, Joe Green. I'm probably forgetting. Donnie Shell,
Mike Webster,
who, by the way, Webster was like a 6th or 7th round pick. Those are old school drafting your tail off like the Redskins used to do. Commanders.
Yeah. Donnie Shell. Oh, yeah.
But, and I would say my runner-up was that game. There were the Bengals and the 49ers had played twice. The game that was really close where Montana had to march them back down the field. And I think it was Brown was the receiver that he hit. And then, what's that?
John Taylor.
Right, John Taylor.
Yep.
Not to be confused with the drummer from Duran Duran. But the Pittsburgh Rams, the Rams kind of had that game won, and that incredible pass from Roethlisberger to Santonio Holmes was a really good one. So I'm just hoping for, a very close game. So it will be interesting.
Let me just say one last thing. There are 2 names that caused me to not love the Steelers anymore, because I knew we were in trouble when they had Cliff Stout or Mike Tomczak and Walter Abercrombie as their starters. Like, I was like, this. I'm telling you, when Walter Abercrombie was the replacement for Franco Harris, and then I was just like, no.
Bubby Brister was there too.
Yep.
Mark Malone.
Yes.
Malone.
Yes.
Man, once those guys were Steelers, I was like, this is not the same.
I mean, I'm trying to think after Bradshaw. I'm trying to think who was good after Bradshaw, but before Ben Roethlisberger.
Nobody.
That's like that's what was that? About 25, 30 years.
Cordell Stewart was exciting.
Good quarterback that they had during that stretch.
Yeah, Cordell Stewart was exciting, but yeah.
Oh, Cordell Stewart. That's right.
That's why Chuck Noll resigned.
What's that?
That's why Chuck Noll resigned after Bradshaw. He had Cliff Stout and Mark Malone. He said, "This is it. I can't. I'm done."
This.
Yeah.
All right. So, want to let everybody know we're going to have Matt Hatfield from VA Preps, Virginia Preps, the Encyclopedia of Virginia High School Sports. We're going to do a VHSL basketball playoff, girls and boys, episode early next week. So we're going to put that out. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification. You'll get it. We're going to cover all 6 classes and around the state too. By the way, Southwest Virginia has an incredible. Patrick Henry Roanoke is way up there. Cave Spring is way up there. So Cave Spring's got a 7-footer, by the way, who's going to be a big time recruit. So make sure you tune into that. You always take us out, Rusty. What do you think?
Okay, well, I just want to I want to mention 2 more names: Lewis Lips, and Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge actually could ball,
Hodge was
but he kept getting all those concussions. He had kept getting concussions.
Lewis Lips was good though. Lewis Lips was good.
He was okay.
I don't know.
He was all right.
But he was one of the reasons they tried to push out Lynn Swan and John Stallworth. So yeah, that didn't sit right with me. Anyway, so that's those are again the reasons why I had to make a little transition to the Bears. Anyway, and I'll say this, Jay, I hated those Cowboys, still do, but back then we knew, just like we could rattle off, even though they weren't my team, just like we could rattle off those Steelers, we could rattle off all those Cowboys. Those Cowboys.
I still can.
We don't want to hear it. So anyway, let me just say this. Did not like the team and didn't want them to win, but I've always had players I like. Like I had great respect for Roger Staubach, and I love Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson. But anyway, all right. So look,
before you take us out, I just want to. I'm sorry, Rusty, I didn't put that in there. If Philadelphia wins, it is a given that the fans riot. It's like Maryland basketball when they used to beat Duke. You know they're going to race hell up on Route 1. In Center City, Philadelphia, you know, the beautiful Center City, whatever, they grease the light poles so people can't climb them. They take everything down. So if Philadelphia wins and you're up, just put it on because that gets wild and crazy. Those Philly fans are something else. But yeah, take us to bed, Rusty.
All right. So look, I want to thank our guest today, Richard Knowles, the water cooler brother, and then we got the Godfather of Prince William County sports, Jay Gholson. Hey, thank you guys for joining us. Let's go ahead on and repeat once again. Richard Knowles, you have picked the Eagles to win.
24-10.
Yep. Jay Gholson
Johnson as the MVP.
Okay. Jay Gholson also picked the Eagles. 20-10. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is going to only score 10 points. Kirk went with the Kansas City Chiefs, which I think is an excellent pick. And you know, I'm always trying not to lose either way because I can't, because it's the Brother Bowl. But I would bet the Eagles. But I really want Patrick Mahomes to get that second Super Bowl victory to solidify him as one of the greatest of all time. But look, I appreciate you guys being here. Do me a favor, fans. When you watch this, I want you to not just, make sure you subscribe and all that, but comment. Let us know how whack Jay Gholson's takes are, how brilliant mine are, how long Kirk talks too much, and then Richard, he's doing too many stats or whatever. Anyway, but no, comment, guys. And I'm just, Kirk knows I'm just playing. That's just, no, I'm not.
All right.
Not playing America. Okay, anyway. All right, look, this has been a lot of fun. Make sure you, not just this, go back, look at some of the other shows we've done, and we appreciate all the support. So again, for my co-host, Kirk Hilliard, this has been Rusty Byrd with the Kirk and Byrd Show. We're out.